Why are the Patriots able to hire Gerard Mayo so quickly, even though it hasn't been officially announced as you and I are conversing right now, Tom?
So under the Rooney Rule, teams are currently required to interview 2 external minority candidates for any high-level position, whether that's a head coach or a general manager. The exceptions to the rule, there's 2 of them. One is if you make the coaching change after March 1st. That's what we saw a couple of years ago with Todd Bowles taking over for Bruce Arians, because realistically at that point, you're talking about teams are already way down the line, and saying you're going to bring people in and do a whole process doesn't really make sense. The other exception to that rule is if you, in writing, put that somebody is the successor to the job. And it doesn't matter if they're black, white, whatever. If you put that in writing that you are the planned successor, you're allowed to step into that job. And there have been other examples of this. One of the more recent ones was Eric DaCosta taking over for Ozzie Newsome. If you have it in writing that you're the successor, there's not a Rooney Rule requirement. You don't have to go through a search process. You can simply be elevated. And certainly there was a belief that this was in Gerard Mayo's contract going all the way back to about a year ago at this time, when the Patriots did something highly unusual for the organization, which was send out a press release saying we are working on a contract, not even done. We are working on a contract with Gerard Mayo to keep him with the team for years to come. And also, we have now brought aboard Bill O'Brien as our new offensive coordinator. The Patriots normally don't announce that the sun came up today. They won't confirm anything publicly like that. The fact that they intentionally put that out there, it signaled a couple of things. One, Gerard Mayo very clearly was the successor to Bill Belichick. But secondly, it also was evidence of what we've seen is an erosion of power that Bill Belichick had long had within the organization. And Robert Kraft, Jonathan Kraft, had been increasingly involved in football matters. There were certain things that Bill Belichick has always had in his contract, 53-man roster control. The team can't hire a general manager. But in terms of control over individual members of the coaching staff, non-football hires and things like that, those were not technically under Bill Belichick's purview. And when you look back at in recent years here, why things went the direction that they did in New England, there were a bunch of reasons for that. The number of valuable members of their coaching staff and front office who had left is certainly part of the equation here. Bill Belichick did not have the help that he had had in prior years, but also there was certainly a belief from Belichick's side, as far as I understand it, that he was no longer able to function the way that he had on the way to 6 Super Bowls. That's part of the reason when they had these conversations here, specifically on Monday and then carried into the next couple of days, things just weren't able to get on the same page for them to move forward together.
What do you mean by that? Because I know those who would listening and might have a little bit of the cynicism in them would be, the things that he didn't have to operate the way that he's used to operating there in New England is named Tom and Brady. But what else? I mean, seriously, what else are you referring to that led to this remarkable parting of the ways, Tom?
Go down the list of people, Rich, who have gotten jobs out of the Patriots organization. And of course, everybody makes jokes of, okay, it was all Belichick, it's all Brady, these guys come out of that, and why do people keep hiring out of that tree? But when you lose Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler and Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn and Joe Judge, at least for a bit there, Nick Caserio goes to Houston. You can go down the rest of the list. Jack Easterby going to Houston, who was a key part of the operational thing. All these people who had been a part of this network that Bill had kind of overseen, all of a sudden he didn't have that same level of expertise working with him to put all the various systems and processes in place that Belichick had been used to. And again, I know I said some names in that sentence that people are going to roll their eyes at, but you're talking about the difference between those people going and trying to set a similar program someplace else, and those people knowing specifically how they function within the Bill Belichick universe. When you have, and really New England is the only one that's truly like this in the NFL, because yes, Pete Carroll had 53-man roster control. He technically had veto power. He hired John Schneider. But nobody had more authority over every aspect of the football operation than Bill Belichick in New England, which works. Yes, it helps when you have the greatest player of all time on your side. They tried to find the next guy in Mac Jones a couple of years ago. There's a bunch of reasons things did not go well. They also gave Mac Jones 3 different offensive coordinators, because Josh McDaniels, 4 if you count the two-headed monster from last year. They had Josh McDaniels, then it was Patricia and Judge, Then this year it's Bill O'Brien. So you're switching schemes, you're switching systems. Again, there's this massive brain drain that happened within the organization. And when it relies on one person to oversee all of it, and suddenly you have less experienced people doing a lot of those jobs, whether it's on the field or off the field, it just leads to some other things falling by the wayside. You saw that reflected in personnel. You saw that reflected at times in terms of what was left of the coaching staff, and you certainly saw it in the win-loss column where they were 4-13.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.